Blessings massive. My name is Jure. Today on the other side of camera and Europe, I got a Spanish pre-eminent vocal trio who since from their beginnings were recognized as a real reggae force here in Europe. The Emeterians, blessings. How are you?
Greetings.
Blessings, greetings to everyone.
Could
good.
you just shortly introduce yourself to our followers?
Greetings, this is Brother Wildman out of Emeterians.
Bless, this is Mary Jane.
And greetings, this is Magdalene. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having us, guys.
Blessed. Where did I caught you at the moment? Where are you?
We're at home. We're in our home.
We're in Madrid city in the countryside.
In the mountains of Madrid.
Nice. I hope the weather is better than here. I know that Magdalene and Sister Mary Jane, you two are related. Brother Wildman and Sister Mary Jane, you two also have some relationship. How is your relationship in general? Like, are you professionals? Do you hang out all the times, like best friends? Or are you professionals? Like
we are family.
Yeah, she's my sister and he's my brother-in-law. So they both are married, and Mary Jane and myself, we grew together. So yeah, we cannot be any closer than that, you know? And we have many affinities together. We basically more or less like the same things. And plus we got the project together, you know? So of course, we see each other not every day like it used to be, but every week, you know, a couple of days.
Great. Well, let's go straight to music and your new album. It's 7th in a row, Lockdown Project. How are you satisfied with the reviews and feedback so far?
Wow, we are pretty amazed, actually. You know, because after this kind of bubble we've all gone through, you just don't know what to expect. So I think the work that we did in the album and the work that we did in social media, I think it was I think we got the best feedback we could ever imagine. Much better, actually.
Exactly. I mean, take in consideration that the album is self-produced, self-mixed, self-recorded, self-mastered, everything. There's no professional studios in between. There's no professional engineers. It's just us, you know. So that's one of the special things. So as it's just us, the level of criticism that we have, you know, but for ourselves is very high. So the standard is pretty high, you know. So normally with a producer from outside, out of the family, let's talk like that, you would basically go as he says or the other way around, no? Between us with Cosme, which is a family, you know, co-producer for the album, between us, it's not so easy because you always wanted to sound better and better and better and better, you know. So it was, I mean, I did like 8 mixes of every song, you know. So it's 10 songs. I have 80 mixes of the album, you know, and then the dubs, etc. So it's, I don't know. It was hard work. We weren't expecting this positive feedback because there's no, as I've been saying, there's not a great engineer doing the work there. The songs, the instrumentals are risky. Some of them mixed styles and stuff like that. You know, we wanted to do something new. So we had no idea how the people were going to react. You know, we were thinking at first that as it's less rootsy than the other albums, that maybe people will react negatively. But it's been the other way around. The old fans love it and say it's one of their 2 or 3 favorite albums out of our 7. And we getting lots of new fans, you know, so new followers, which is great.
Yeah, you're mostly known as a roots band, although with this album you went a bit different way, but you didn't start actually as a reggae band. You were involved in different kind of music, am I right?
I mean, as Emeterians, we started as a reggae band, as singers or musicians. Before doing Emeterians, well, Mary had another reggae band in which she was a backing vocal singer. In my case, I played samba in a band. Me and Mary Jane also had a funk band before Emeterians.
Not me.
You know,
I was born Emeterian.
What actually?
All right. So basically, what it says is that we come from different styles. The first style that we learned and that we heard, it wasn't reggae. You know, reggae came in our teenage years, late teenage years. You know.
Yeah.
But that's when we actually got together as Emeterians and started rehearsing pure reggae. And the thing is that we had a parallel band called Versionites, and we used to do tributes to well, most of them Jamaican artists. So I think that's where we learned the most of, you know, trying to get that sound, those same instruments, those same melodies. We were very thorough to get it right as it sounds. So I think that was a big push up for our own composition and everything that went along with the Emeterians.
What it
So
is?
therefore, everyone starting a band or wanting to start a band in Slovenia or whatever, I mean, whatever music you hear, doesn't matter, you know. It will give you a nice input on the reggae style you want to play. You know, for us, as you know, we didn't start listening to reggae. It was even hard rock for me. It was much rap for Wildman as well, and much soul. Mary liked a lot of R&B, you know, so our background is very different. But then suddenly we evolved to our late teenage years, and reggae hit us very, very hard in the same way, I guess, you know. So it was a matter of time that we got together.
Because we have to remember that reggae has soul, reggae has blues, reggae has rock, reggae has funk, reggae has everything. So if you come from a background when you have been exposed to this kind of music, when you in your teens, when you get to this rebellious stage of life, we could say, you come across reggae music, which is giving you a conscious and rebellious message, and also a unity message. And you recognize soul, you recognize blues, you recognize funk, you recognize everything you've heard before in that style. It's a win-win. It was instantaneous.
True. On a Lockdown project, you also have a tune called Reggae Music. It's the last one, if I'm not mistaken, on the album. There you pay your respects to lots of reggae legends and artists. But who was for you the first? What was that breaking moment that from rock, hip hop, soul dive into reggae music?
I think we all know it. Yes, I would say it like in a chorus. Bob Marley.
Of course.
It all started there for us here in Europe. It's what it is.
And especially in Spain, when we were teenagers, because we are not so young anymore. When we were teenagers in Spain, you could only find Bob Marley. And if you asked around, hey, do you know about reggae, people, artists? If somebody tell you something, it was going to be Bob Marley, because it was the only one that people could know about.
And it was the old recordings, right, of Bob Marley with Lee Scratch Perry and through a cassette.
Yeah, it was even hard to find the Bob Marley's 11 Island albums. I mean, Burning, Catch a Fire, and all that follows. You couldn't find that in Spain, in no store. Not in CD, not in vinyl, not in cassette.
Exactly. So we came across, in our case, me and Mary came across a cassette from a neighbor that suddenly appeared in my place at home. You know, that was pure casualty. And then the rest, the first bands we started to hear about, we also had them on a cassette. You finally knew someone that had some reggae, and you will automatically tell him, please do me a mixtape, you know? So we start knowing about reggae bands and reggae artists through cassettes, you know, and through mixtapes, and through the only few people that knew something about reggae in Madrid, and plus that had the equipment to pass the CD to cassette, which wasn't everyone, you know.
Yeah. At what point did you realize that reggae music is your calling, not just profession? Was that a conscious decision to go into like, we're gonna form a group, we're gonna do reggae, we're gonna tour the world, or it just happened spontaneously?
It happened spontaneously. We decided to gather and form a group and rehearse and play because we just out of love. We loved reggae music so much and we loved singing so much that we kind of thought, hey, let's see if we can. If we can do this kind of music.
Yeah, Magalion here gathered like a lot of musicians. We were like 13 or 14, at the beginning. Just
friends, first of all, they were friends. We gathered friends.
And at first it was a hobby. It was, we just wanted to see if we could play Jamaican reggae roots.
Yeah.
And if it would sound proper. And we rehearsed for a long year and a half before we were proud of the sound we were getting. And I think that the first time we went up on stage, our first gig, that was the moment we said, wow, what's happening?
I would point out that moment. The first show we ever did was the moment we said, what? We felt that vibe and that spiritualism, that energy. And we had the blessing that we had a full venue on our first show. It was 12, 13 people of us. Each of us called 10 friends, and we had the full venue,
Mm-hmm.
And many more full venues came after that. It was really nice. We had a very nice impact. I don't know how to call it, but from the start, So it took us, like Wildman said, a long time to be able to do that first show. Remember that we first gathered, most of them were like friends. They didn't know music. Most of them, they didn't know.
They did know music, but they didn't know reggae.
Some, most even didn't know. I mean, Pablete, Juan Sere, Sarota.
Music, but
that's why we rehearsed for a long time before we were able to say, okay, now we can deliver something that's decent,
Exactly.
Nice.
So I don't know.
Came naturally. I mean, more gigs, and then we wanted to record an album. And then we actually recorded an album, but then all the stems, the computer just went off and we lost everything we recorded. So we had to spend another 2 months recording everything back again. We learned a lot from that. And from then, it was so natural. We just knew that was our way. We've been doing this and that on the sides, we still have to work and everything because we've never lived from reggae, no? And we've been 17 years together. Yeah. So for us, it's just the love for this music and for the lyrics, for the message that we receive, and we want to give that to the people as well. At the beginning, our lyrics were more personal, more we want to get out this and me. And then we noticed that reggae is it's universal, And the same you got from those reggae lyrics, from those reggae songs, you realize that the people are there and they're expecting that from you as well. So it all came very naturally.
And coming to reggae music and to the Lockdown project, so our first song, Our Story, will tell a little bit about this, So we have on the album, the first song is Our Story, which tells a little bit of our biography, and some important people and important parts
milestones
in our music. And then the last song would be a tribute to all these artists and legends, inspiration that partially made us who we are. It was meant to be. We had to pay a tribute to these artists. We do it, as Mary said, with a different band, with Versionites. We do it in every show. We put 1 or 2 covers, and we big up the of course, where it all came from. But now we felt as well the need to put it on an album.
Yeah, because those people basically changed our lives. I bet none of us, when we were little, we were dreaming about being Rasta musicians. Definitely. We weren't thinking about that, but suddenly this music, this message, this vibe, this connection to the people, it attracts you and it changes your life.
Nice. Good to hear
And what
that.
about you? When did you feel that impact on your life?
I should supposed to interview you, not you interview me, but
Yeah, but with
We want to know.
to know each other better.
well, it was like, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago. Before that, I was a real hardcore raver, like pink hair, green hair, blue hair, and everything. And like I said, one day I bought a CD of Bob Marley, and my vision, my views, everything changed like in a second. So I kind of
It's
know.
amazing, huh?
Yeah, true,
Yeah.
what music can do to our lives. But back to
Totally.
interviewing you. You also already mentioned our story there. You also talk at some point you had to leave Madrid and go to London to pursue your musical careers. What did London give you that Madrid couldn't? Why did you move?
Oof.
Wow,
A lot.
a lot.
A lot of culture, a lot of exposure. We were able to go to Peking store with original Studio One sounds and
make an album with him.
and have a kind of old school audition with him. Because Cosme, I was taking we were living in London for 2 years, basically working non-stop to be able to pay the rent, because there in London the prices are high. So 2 years later, Cosme came to London. He looked for a job and he came to live to our house. And one day we were taking a stroll through the park with the bike, Zion Park Gardens, and he told me, "Do you know that Peking store is right there, across the street?" And I said, "Peking store? Really? Okay, let's go." And we went there and Peking was there, which is quite rare. But that day he was there. And Cosme started talking to Peking. Hi, I'm a producer from Spain. This is my friend Wildman. He's a wicked artist. He's a singer. And he said, yeah, are you a singer? Sing. And he played the B side of the tune, the instrumental, and he said, sing. So I started to sing. and the guy suddenly, Cosme wanted to ask for some rhythms to do a mixtape. And he said, why a mixtape? Let's do an album. I mean, the rhythms are mine. We can do an album. And we said, all right. And then Cosme said, actually, there's 3 of them, but only he could come today. But they are a vocal trio. And he said, oh, really? Like, this makes it even more interesting. So he gave us a CD with a couple of rhythms. And the next time we went there, we came with 2 tunes or 3. Yeah. And then these guys came as well, and we introduced as the vocal trio. And that was a moment, man, that I will never forget in my life, because it's like the kind of auditions you used to see in reggae documentaries, you know. You go to there and you sing in front of the producer, and if he likes it, you build a tune. If he doesn't like it, he tells you no, thank you.
And it was the first time we actually sang over rhythms that come directly from Jamaica, you know, from songs that we've been listening to for so many years, and like rebel, like So Rebel, you know, just have the rhythm of So Rebel, and you say, wow, we're gonna do a tune over this rhythm. Like, I can't do a better song than So Rebel, you know? Like, what are we gonna do?
Or legendary rocksteady rhythms, legendary.
But suddenly you just let it flow, and it's just the magic of music, you know?
And we met many people in London, many people. Cecil Rubin, we played in Hootenanny, which is a legendary reggae venue in Brixton.
And it's a kind of test, like it's a kind of audience that if they like you, they love you. But if they don't like you, I mean, they put you out of stage, you know? We've been there as an audience and seen how people react to an artist they don't like, and the artist almost goes crying, you know? Like, I will always remember the first time we performed in Hootenanny, like, oh my gosh. And like the first 3 songs, it was all silence. And we're like, what's happening? And then the 4th, 5th song, they all came up, you know, and we had amazing feedback from the audience, like people actually responding to our songs, because here in Spain, we sing a song, and when you finish the gig, you get the feedback from people like, I love the show, I love the melodies, I love the harmonies.
You sing really well.
You sing really well.
But what did you say?
I love the solo from the guitar. But there in London and in Hootananny, I mean, you're singing, and with eyes closed, you're singing, and people are responding to you. Yeah, man, that's right. True. And you're like, wow, like they're understanding every word I'm saying, you know, like it's another world. I mean,
we definitely wanted a change, and we wanted to go to a place that, you know, where you could breathe reggae music as part of a culture. Our first idea, of course, was Jamaica. It was just 0 links and too expensive, far away, etc. So we did our second option, which was London, in which we had a couple of links, and things supposedly would be a little easier. In the end, as Wildman told you, we ended up working 40, 50 hours a week each one. The first couple of years was hard because we didn't have the same schedule.
I remember a week we're doing like 76 hours a week in the roster.
Yeah, we couldn't get time. We were living together, the 3 of us, and we couldn't get time together to rehearsal or to just listening to a tune or whatever. It was
just
crazy.
To talk with
each other. So our initial plan was to go there for a couple of years. It took us a couple of years just to start, you know, and then we ended up staying there for 4 years. The next 4 years were amazing, you know. On the first 2 years, let me say that the few times that we could do music and we did wonderful things. We met lots of musicians that play with every Jamaican artist we love.
And we went a couple of times to the Scala and see the University of Dub and Sound System, and we saw Abashanti, Channel 1, Kibir Lam, everyone.
Exactly.
But that was 2 or 3 times in 2 years, you know.
And then suddenly Cosme came. We went to Peckings, as Wildman told you, and we started like a new project. Let's say, you know, let's do an album with Peckings and Cosme Day as well as co-producer.
Cosme was the real motivator and instigator.
Exactly.
And he brought the light, because just before he was coming, we were in a dark tunnel. You know, we couldn't see the light. What are we doing here, guys? We're not doing any music.
And it's always cloudy and raining and dark. And
me and Magalayan, I remember
coming from Spain.
We went to do a gig in an Irish pub, and they were gonna pay us £60. 60 pounds.
No, it was 50
pounds. But when we get there, the guy expected the whole band, and Magalayan was like,
for 60
with £50, I can pay maybe one musician if I'm lucky, you know. And the guy went, what? No, then I'm not gonna pay you guys, you know. And he wanted to give us like a £20. Man, we had to stand our ground there, you know. Like, out of the £50 you're paying us, 25 each, we spend like 15 each just on transportation. You know?
And we have to eat.
So, man, it was hard times as well, which also made us learn a lot.
But then I started as well playing with some musicians, some very old reggae sound, you know. And although they paid very little, we learned a lot, and we were able to start to know a lot of musicians and artists and everything. And then thanks to this Peckins CD, we had the link with Stingray, where the CD was mixed.
Yeah.
And then so the second album, we did it with Stingray. We had such an amazing bond with him, and just being in his studio and watching it, all the pictures he has in his wall from every artist you can imagine, you know, in the reggae scene.
There,
yeah. That's the thing with London, man, that reggae music is there. It's part of the culture. So if you go there and you are able to take the first step, all the rest of the steps will follow. Because once you make one link, you make another, and then another, and then boop, 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 and you end up
doing 3 albums in 2 years.
Yeah.
That's what we did. We did a mixtape and 3 albums, and yeah.
And you end up going to the BBC with Rodigan, and you're like, what? How is that? But yeah, that's the great thing about UK.
Opportunities. If they give you the opportunity, man, you can only shine, you know? That's the thing. If they cut opportunities, you've got nothing to do, even if you want to.
Well, great. Followers can find out more about UK Journey in the album Journey, of course. Brother Wildman, you already mentioned a bit how your work looked like, preparation and everything in London. But how does I don't know, how is your working process? How does it come from idea to album? What's everything in between? How do you create? How did project?
It depends a lot, because we started building everything, the instrumentals and the songs and the melodies, and we started doing it on the rehearsal room between all of us. Everyone would try to give his input, but then we started receiving rhythms and productions from other producers. We for example, Pekins, with an instrumental, a legendary instrumental already built. So you need to write on top of it. And we basically hit play and listen to the rhythm and
see if it inspires any of us.
Music is in the air, and you just have to listen to the melody you like and take it.
Yeah, but how do you decide?
So, yeah.
How do you decide that you're gonna involve 808s, some trap hi-hats, original skunks into reggae like you're doing? Where does this inspiration come from?
Well, that depends on the mood we are in that day, or what we've been listening to on the recent weeks. Well, depends basically on Maga Lion, because he's the one that builds the instrumentals now.
Yeah.
No, but yes, I mean, maybe I can come up with the original idea, but in the end, it's the 3 of us, or the 4 of us in this case, with Cosme working on it. The fact of mixing 808s with skanks and all of that, it was the idea for this project, because you don't have studios to go to, you don't have musicians you can count, basically. Except for the song Be Careful, in which we do have our forward ever band, but each one more or less had to record separately, But for the rest of the songs, I don't know, we wanted a different thing. That's to be true. We wanted a different sound, and I had this idea of mixing the way I would like if something modern of reggae nowadays would come out, the way I would like it to be. Because most of the reggae, modern reggae I hear nowadays, it's very far away from reggae, And you could use most of those elements or resources, but you can bring it a little more to reggae. You can do it with not removing skanks from the instrumental, for example, and then building harmonies on top, and this, classic harmonies on top, and that kind of vibe. So I don't know, it comes natural. It's true that for some songs, I did have the idea to do that mix, So basically, we load the project with 2 different drums. I put on 808 drums with a big fat bass drum and those crispy snares and special hi-hats. And then I also load an organic reggae roots drum, and I mix a little bit between both of them, So I would probably use the bass drum, not from the 808s, but I would use the bass drum from the roots one, but I will use the bass line from 808s, which is in the end is more or less like a bass drum with note, mixing that, and then putting skanks on top, organic, plus a lot of percussion, which is played, and recorded with microphone, which is also organic, and then it's mixed in analog style, like it used to be in the old days. So it's, I don't know.
An experiment.
Exactly. Different thing.
Experiment turned well, I must say. I would like to know we already mentioned Versa Nights, but through that project actually grew another one, Sister Sings Reggae Queens. Am I right? What's the idea behind it? I know it's a charity-based project and everything. I would like to know a little bit more.
Well, the idea was to gather as many female singers as we could, because
to give exposure.
Yeah, we need exposure, you know, like everywhere. No, not only sing. You go to a festival and most of the artists are male. You go to a sound system and most of the songs are male. And this goes on everywhere. I mean, everywhere. So we had the idea to gather the first year, just the Spanish female artists from Madrid get together and sing songs from female reggae singers from most of them Jamaican, but we had from Africa and other places as well, to give their songs to people, for them to know them. It's amazing songs. Tribute, yeah, big tribute. So that's why it calls Sisters, because we gather our own sisters here from Spain and make a tribute to the reggae queens. No. And it was amazing. And it involved so many musicians and artists that we could only do it benefit, you know? So first year we had no idea where to give the money to, but we had some links, because it's not only finding a place, you know, and we give it to this place and that's it. You want to know the place, know that the money is going to get there, know what they're going to spend the money in and everything. So you really need links for that. It's not enough. And nowadays you can find everything in Google, but half of them, or 60% or 80% is fake. And the other 20, you never know if it's going to get there or not. So
exactly. So it took us a little time to decide where the funds would go. But then Mary did a lot of job, very, very good job and hard work there. And we end up finding a foundation in Costa Rica. We also did something for Haiti when there was a big earthquake there. The next Reggae Queens was for here, Spain. We wanted, in that second case, we wanted to do the fundraiser, but instead of always putting it out of our community, in this case, we wanted to put it on this community as well, you know? So yeah, it's a very interesting project, which we will try to bring back again.
Yes,
once all the...
we stopped when we went back to London. It was impossible to do it from there, but we're really looking forward to
whenever we go back to normal.
We did three editions. 3 editions. 4 editions.
4.
That's great.
Well, yeah, I hope
it will come back
to normal soon, because this situation is pretty annoying. While browsing and searching a bit about you, I also find another project dedicated to kids, didactic live shows for children. What's that about?
And also, in that live shows for children, and we also have an album for children, you know, with most reggae songs for children, which is called Early Years Project.
I mean, you can see our influences are most reggae, but it's not meant to be a reggae CD for children, because people get confused with that. And then they say, this is not all reggae. It's true. You can see our inspiration there. Of course, there's a lot of reggae. But it was basically, we started working in Magalayan and myself, we were music teachers. And when we went back to London, it was really hard to get a job of music teacher, because they ask for experience, at least 2 years experience with English children. And of course, if you need the experience and to have that. No? But well, in the end, we got to this nursery, and it was the first time actually that we started working with children beneath 3 years old. So it was really beautiful, but it's another world, you know, of education. I mean, it's not, the basic things, you have to show them how to dress up, how to eat, how to do everything, right? Mm-hmm. So we saw the importance of music for teaching, you know, and we start gathering some songs like for the days of the week. Yeah, we're gonna study the days of the week this week. And I started looking for songs of days of the week, and oh man, they were horrible, you know. Not only because of the lyrics, but of the instrumental and the voice of the lead singer. I mean, so we started just making our own songs. We started with a tidy up song that we used to use in the nursery, because he used to use one that was very, very bad and very depressing. Yeah, like they started singing the song and then children were like, oh, you know. And with music, you can make even tidy up a fun game, you know. Like, let's see who can find the red objects first, and you're talking about the colors, or I don't know, just make it fun, you know, the tidy up. So we started with a tidy up song, then we started with the days of the week, and so it goes. So we ended up with an album just for teaching children from 0 to 5 years old, just the basic things, you know. It's beautiful to see how some of the children just even sings before they talk, you know, because the rhythm, the melody, the repetition works a lot in your memory and your vocabulary to start to express yourself. So it was a beautiful project.
And we also did with a full band, we had that live set, you know, in which we basically would transform the stage in a ship, in a boat, and we would travel the world from Jamaica, where it all started, or even Africa. I think we started in Africa or something like that. We would travel through Jamaica, then we play some ska and some rock steady. We would then go to the United States and see that influence in reggae. We would go around and then go like Asia and play that kung fu fighting. Mm-hmm. And so we would do like history reggae concert. Plus it was for kids. So between songs and some songs, during even the song, you would do activities with the children. Yeah, you will involve them, interact with them.
Some little performances.
Exactly.
We were supposed to be a pirate ship, and we were dressed as pirates. That's why we were going around the world and experimenting different kind of reggae around the world. We also went to Africa and we played some Alpha Blondie, and we went to London, to the UK, and we played some UK style reggae. No, I don't remember, but
it was a long time ago.
Some Lovers Rock.
It was fun. So yeah, man, children are the future. So definitely, it's a part of what we need to do. You know,
a part of the mission.
Nice, true inspiration. I must say, I will definitely check out for this album. Since the time is not on our side anymore, I would like to really thank you all for your time, for your wisdoms. I hope one day we will see you live, probably here in Slovenia.
We're definitely looking forward.
Yeah, till then, keep up the good work. Much love to Madrid, to all our followers. You must listen to Lockdown Project. It's really worth it. It's a good album. I was Jure, and I wish you all blessed day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Ooh la la la, ooh la la la. And you can call we anytime you want. Ooh la la la, ooh la la la. And you can lean on we, 'cause we will never let you down.
Yes, family, this is the Emeterians straight from Spain, representing for Reggae.Si, Slovenia. Cha!